Namaste and welcome. This is Sabri, and today we are going to talk about a very important topic whose applications are very useful in our daily life, in every aspect of our life, every situation, and every second of our life. All of us know that before some days, Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide, and before 6 days of his suicide, his manager committed suicide. All these suicides and other bad situations have a common reason, and that is emotions, bad emotions. Going our body control into the hands of our bad emotions is a very serious issue. It is very harmful. Are emotions a problem? No. Emotions are just not a problem. Emotions are everything. Emotions are useful also, emotions are harmful also. So, how to use emotions or how to tackle with the harmful emotions? That's what we are going to see in this video. So, one of the best solution I'm going to present in front of you is the emotional intelligence. Let's start.
The topic emotional intelligence. First of all, let us note a definition and meaning of emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence is defined as the ability of a person to spot self emotions and self behavior, also spotting the reason behind these emotions and behavior, and judging all these points, managing self behavior, and also the relationship with others and society. So, to become mentally strong and to increase the emotional intelligence in ourselves, it is very important to know the science behind the emotions. So, basic feelings. There are five basic emotions, and all the other emotions are the mixture of these five emotions. And those basic five emotions are happy, sad, angry, afraid, and ashamed. So, as shown in the picture, inside the brain, pathway of the traveling of signals is given. Our five senses sense the situation and that input is converted into the electric signals. These signals travel through the neurons. So as shown in the figure, these electric signals travel from organs to the spinal cord, and while traveling from the spinal cord, they reach the limbic systems where you emotional think or your emotions are generated. And from the limbic systems, these signals go to their last destination called forehead, which we also call frontal lobe, where your logical and rational thoughts exist. So before reaching to the frontal lobe, signals affect the limbic system, and due to this, emotions are generated at this region with respect to the input senses, and those emotions start affecting on our brain. There is always a constant communication between the limbic system and the frontal lobe, or in the other words, we can also say that there is a constant communication between the emotions and our rational thoughts. Forehead is the main region where logical and rational thinking takes place. Our logical and rational decisions depends upon our thoughts. Even if this statement is true, but still, before reaching to the frontal lobe, senses affect the limbic system and emotions start affecting also. Due to this constant communication, not only the frontal lobe but the limbic system is also involved to take the final decision. Even if emotions and rational thinking are the different parts, they are from different departments, still they are both involved to take any decision. Forehead always takes the logical and right decisions, but emotions involved in it may be wrong. Hence, it's very important to control our emotions. But controlling our emotions is very hard in a one topic. This is a very important topic in the emotional intelligence. That is triggers and the emotional hijackings. Emotional hijacking is a process where intense emotions are created in reaction to a situation, and that's why the body control immediately goes to the emotions. So when the brain takes the decisions, human body has to follow it. But actions of the human body are highly affected by emotions. And that's why if your emotions are intense, your actions are bold. And highly intense emotion cause highly effective hijackings. The first reaction is always emotional after experiencing an event. Signals before reaching to the frontal lobe affect the limbic system, and that's why before thinking logically, emotional affects. And this is the main reason behind the emotional hijacking. And such types of situations which create prolonged emotional hijacking are called as trigger events. Speciality of trigger events is that the control totally goes to the emotions for some time unless and until thoughts work on it. So before the starting of the video, I have told you a story of a boy and a shark. Now let's apply the theory of emotional hijacking to it. When the boy saw a huge shark, he scared and paralyzed. Getting paralyzed was his emotional body reaction. In short, it was a emotional hijacking for him. It was a trigger event for that boy. But after some time, when he thought about to fight and escape, his body control came back to his thoughts to take the decision. When we face any problem, we have to tackle it with courage. This is definitely a common positive thought for everyone. After some time, when effect of his emotional hijack was finished, to escape, he started angrily attacking on the gills of the shark by his surfboard, and he finally succeeded. So, the conversion of his emotion from afraid to anger leads to taking back the control from emotion to the frontal lobe. And that's why, due to the use of his emotional intelligence, the 99% possibility of his death got failed. This is the main magic of emotional intelligence. There is a much more difference between a living human body and a person. So let us see what makes a living human body to a person. So as shown in this picture, we are not just looking a living human body, we are looking a person, and that's why the caption is sizing up a whole person. So this picture says that a person consists of intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, and personality together. So let's see the first component of this combination, and that is IQ, that is intelligent quotient. IQ of a person is the score of the person's cognitive abilities. The IQ of a person is a fixed quantity. It cannot be changed. And that's why IQ at any age of the person is same the whole life. Only IQ of the person cannot affect the performance. These three things are very important to understand by everyone, because nowadays teachers, students and people, everyone is affected by a rumor that if we want to send our child or our student to any field for education, it is very important to know his IQ. This is totally wrong, because not only the IQ affects, but other things like personality and emotional quotient also affect their performance. So, first of all, we have to clear this rumor that IQ is everything. There is no doubt to say that IQ of a person increases the speed of the task, but it will be totally wrong to consider that IQ of a person can increase the performance. Only IQ of a person cannot increase the performance, because performance is a factor which does not depend upon IQ only. It depends upon EQ and personality also. From a survey, it is stated that the person with the highest level IQ completes the work just in the 20% of the time taken by the average IQ student. In short, a person with highest IQ increases the speed of the task and not the performance. But the person with highest level IQ need not to be the best performer. So here I would like to clear the rumor of every parent, student and a teacher that to send our child or our student to any educational field, it will be totally wrong to consider only IQ of that person. EQ and personality is also very important to consider. The third important factor from the combination is personality. A person with a handsome face cannot be said to be having good personality. Personality is a definition of the characteristic sets of behaviors, cognitions, and emotional patterns that evolve from biological and environmental factors. Personality of a person remains the same lifetime. It's not variable. Even if the personality contains the characteristics of the emotional patterns, EQ of the person can't be measured from the personality. Now let's see the third most important part, and that is emotional quotient. Emotional quotient is the measure of ability to spot your emotions and control them, as well as your behavior. Emotional quotient affects the performance of the person the most. As per a survey, emotional quotient affects the performance by 58%. Rather than intelligent quotient, emotional quotient is very important. It is because definitely intelligent quotient and personality contribute to complete a task, but deep inside a brain, emotions communicate with thoughts. If emotions are against the thoughts, our performance lowers. But if emotions support our thoughts, performance increases. At the last, it is not doubtful to say that the increasing or decreasing of the performance depends upon the direction of our emotions. After watching this picture, impact of emotional intelligence will be understood. So, as shown in the picture of a tree, this picture says that most of the factors of our life are dependent upon emotional quotient, and that is time management, decision making, change tolerance, assertiveness, empathy, stress tolerance, presentation skills, social skills, customer service, flexibility, accountability, etc. etc. Almost all the factors of our life are totally dependent upon emotional quotient. To increase the emotional quotient, two competencies are classified. Those are personal and the social. And the skills which improve emotional quotient are again divided into personal and social competencies. And those skills are self-awareness and self-management, which come to the personal competency, social awareness and relationship management, which comes to the social competency. Now let's see the first and most basic skill, self-awareness. The self-awareness skill is gained by practicing the four skills. First one is spotting self-behavior, spotting self-thoughts, spotting self-emotions and their origin, spotting those events which may work as a trigger for you. Now let's see the self-management. Self-management is the next step to the self-awareness. It depends upon the self-awareness, and if your self-awareness is not proper, your self-management cannot be proper. Self-management is the ability to use your right behavior to the right situation. Self-management tells us to control self-emotional behavior. It also tells us to use your emotions always in the direction of your logical decisions, so as to control the behavior as well as to improve the performance. Now let's see the next skill, social awareness. Social awareness is the next level after the self-awareness and self-management. Before practicing this skill, you should be fully self-aware first to tolerate any type of emotional attack which may be done from the person you're dealing with. Social awareness is the skill which teaches us to spot others' emotions and the triggers and situations of others which they are going with. In short, social awareness tells us to know the problem of other persons and deal with that person. To successfully practice this skill, it is very important to control self-emotional reactions on others' behavior. Instead of giving reaction, this skill aims towards getting information from the person you are dealing with. And to get the information, we have to tolerate the emotional attacks from the person we are dealing with. We can't predict someone's last emotions and the aims. Deep inside, the last emotion is not going to come outside. So wherever social awareness fails, the tit for tat is only the method to be applied, but it should not be applied everywhere. And the last skill is relationship management. Relationship management skill is the fourth level in the emotional intelligence. All the other three skills need to be practiced to practice this skill. The relationship management is the skill to maintain our relations with others and the society positively and successfully. Weaker connections with the related person may lead to the lack of trust and less importance for our statement. And that's why such cases are a great challenge for our brain and emotion. And this skill becomes very much useful for such cases and making such relations strongly.